Hi, I'm Kelly from Kelly Jones Jewellery. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make this cute pendant, but you end up making them into earrings. I've put a list of everything you'll need in the description below, so let's get started. To make this pendant you'll need 0.8mm wire, which is 20 gauge, and I've cut 3 lengths at 6 inches, which is 15 centimetres. You'll need 0.315mm weaving wire. I've wound mine onto a bobbin. This is a Bobby's bobbin by Beadsmith. If you don't have one of these, don't worry, you just wind your wire onto the bobbin and it just keeps it all together rather than it all flailing about. You'll need a little teardrop stone. This is very small. You can use a larger one if you want to. Mine is 13mm by 10, so anything that kind of size, but like I say, you can use a bigger stone if you want to. And tools, I've got my pliers, round nose pliers, cutters and nylon pliers. If you don't have nylon pliers, don't worry, I just like to have these handy for straightening wires and compressing wires. Cut your wires to the lengths that I have. Take your base wires, position your thumb centrally on the wires, and we'll start weaving just to the left of your thumb there. Your weaving wire, we'll start with 3 wraps around the bottom wire. So we'll go once around the bottom 2 wires, bringing your wire up between those 2 wires. Go around the top 2 wires, and that's our repeat. Wrap around the bottom 2, then around the top 2. So I've kept repeating that weave, and I've done just over a centimetre of that weave. And we'll finish with 3 wraps around the bottom wire. And cut the wire at both ends. And press those little cut ends down flat. So make sure your weave is quite central on the wire, on the wires. Mine's gone along a little bit. And then grip the centre of that weave just to the right of the centre. So you bend it at the centre, and we're going to bend it into a V. You want that V to sit at the bottom of the stone, so the stone's going to be pointing up, and this is going to sit at the bottom there like that. And then we're going to hold that stone in place the best we can. I know it's going to keep moving around because my stone is so smooth, so this is going to take some adjusting for me. Only got to try and go around the stone, but keep it quite straight still. Do you know what I mean? Remove your stone, have a look at your wires and level them up and adjust them if you need to, so it's all nice and straight and square. Reposition your stone, and then where the wires meet at the point of the stone, we're going to bend them up. Again, remove your stone, have a look at your wires. See, mine will go off to the one side, and this is where you can just level everything up a bit. Make sure it's all nice and even. Reposition your stone to make sure it all fits all nicely. And take your weaving wire and we'll attach the top together. So we're going to tie, we're going to wrap around the whole thing to tie it all together. So take your weaving wire, and we're going to wrap a few times around the back wire just to attach. Slide that down to just before where the wires join there. And when you put them together, try not to let them cross over each other. Try and keep them all nice and tidy next to each other. And then take your weaving wire around the whole thing about 5 times. Take one of these back wires and then we'll wrap around that to secure those wraps for now while we attach the stone. And we can cut this off from the beginning. Always make sure that you flatten down those little cut ends so they don't snag on anything. Position your stone, make sure it still fits. Turn to the back. We start at the back because then we get like a little bit of a practice run, and then the front should hopefully be tidier. You pull the wires back a little just to start with. My stone is really smooth, so it just keeps jumping out. I'm going to grab this wire at the back close down to the weave. I'm going to twist it so the wire comes over the stone. And then on the other side, grab that back wire, twist it over the stone, and the wire's going to keep jumping out. Turn to the front. And we're going to do the same again. Pull the front wire forward just a little bit, just enough to get your pliers in there. Grip the wire as low as you can to that weave. Twist. On the other side, wiggle it down. Twist that side in too. I'm going to push the wires out at the top because they just keep coming in. So that's all held in now and it's not going to slip out anymore. So then take the 2 front wires, move those out the way for now. And we're just going to wrap around all of those wires, keeping 2 wires on top of 2 wires so they're still nicely positioned. Just going to go around and around the whole thing a few times. And then take the 2 front wires again, pull those over to the right. So we've got 2 wires left. And with those 2 wires, we'll weave across them. So I've gone around one just to hold it for now. So now weaving across those 2 wires, we'll go twice around both wires, come up between, go once around the top wire and once around the bottom wire. So around both wires twice, come up between those 2 wires, once around the top wire and once around the bottom wire. We'll keep repeating that weave. So I've kept repeating that weave and I've done about 1.5 centimetres of that weave, a little bit more. So 2 centimetres from the bottom of the wraps there. Oop, then turn it around, I'll show you the inches. And we'll finish that with a few wraps around the one wire. Now we're going to shape the bail. Now you can do this with your fingers if you want to, or if you have bail pliers, you can use those. You can use anything roughly that kind of size, so maybe a paintbrush or a thin pencil or something, or crochet hook, whatever you've got handy. And we're just going to bend that over the shape of whatever it is you're using. So you bend it over to the back, and at the back we then bend it out so that when you push it together it goes nicely together like that. And then you take your weaving wire. So I've put this down so it finishes at the bottom of these wraps here. So when I go around the whole thing to tie this down, my wraps can go below those wraps. Does that make sense? So if I go round and round and round, I'll show you. My wraps are at the bottom, so they're not on top of the other wraps. And that just holds it all down nice and tidy. Wrap around one of your back wires a few times to finish it off there. We've got a little bail. Do we need to cut that wire now? So we're going to start on these two bottom wires first, and we'll take the front wire and I'm going to scoop it over. So I'm pushing it down at the base first and I'm scooping it around. Like this. And I'm going to pop a little bead on there. So I've got some 3mm beads. And when you're buying your beads, make sure that the hole is wide enough to fit your wire through. So that's got like a 1mm hole. To pop that on there. And then this wire is going to come around as well. So I'm pushing it down at the base a little bit and I'm scooping it around. A little bit bigger than that previous loop. Bringing it round this way to follow. So then these two top wires, I'm going to bend them over to the other side at the bases, so they're over there. And I'm going to scoop them around in like a big scoop. I don't want a little scoop there. I was presuming that the wire was going to do what I wanted it to then. So that comes next to that wire. And then this one comes around to follow. I think I'm going to pop another bead on this wire. Something a bit different again for you this week. So then we've got to finish off these wires. Now these two I'm going to get in the way, so I'm going to open those up for now just to move them out the way. If you want to make earrings out of these, because in between showing you what I'm doing, I've been making another one because I wanted to do them as earrings. We need to do the earring in reverse. So if you're going to do it as a pendant, then you can skip forward a little bit, and if you want to do his earrings, then you can have a little nosy at what I'm doing here. And I'm just going to do that one in reverse. So I've done it exactly the same up until now, and then I'm going to finish it off in the opposite direction. So take those two wires and I'm going to bring them over to this side. So they're bent over to the right at the base, and then one at a time I'm going to scoop them over and around this way. So that one comes around quite sharp and it has a bead on it. Like that. And then this one comes around as well, pushing it down at the base. We're going to do a bigger loop. So it comes around like that. And those two wires are together there. And then these top wires have to come over too. So pushing them down again at the base, we're going to scoop them over on a nice big scoop. And then bring that around to follow. And this one comes over too, to a nice big shape in that one. And I need to pop another bead on that third wire. Which will be this one. I think I do try and stick to my plan, but it always changes. The wire always takes me in a different direction. Ended up nothing like what I planned it would. I'll just try and pull the wires a bit closer together. It's not so big. So all your wires come together there at the bottom, and you need to spread those back wires. And we've got two mirror images of each other. So to finish off these wires, we'll take the top two, and then holding the front in place, we'll go around right the way across, and we'll finish them off around the bail. So we can cut those off and then wrap them around the bail with some round nose pliers. So I've been playing around with a few beads and I really fancy some more beads on there. So I've got a 4mm, a 3, and then these are 2s, and you really must make sure that the hole is the right size when you're buying your beads, so they fit onto your wires. So I think I prefer that. I think I'm going to go with that. So I need to add, I'm going to add some weaving wire on here so I can sort of attach these two wires together. So I'm just going to add some coils. Feel free to add beads and do what I'm doing if you want to. You can just leave it without beads. If you're leaving it without beads, then you need to add some weaving wire where I am, just to attach wire down, but just 3 wraps. You don't need all these. So I'm adding coils so that my beads stay where I want them to. If you're not adding beads, then you just need to add 3 wraps at the bottom here. Cut your weaving wire, because I'm going to attach this wire to the previous wire that I've already tied away. So it would have been easier if that wire wasn't tied away, but there you go. So I'm going to go around that wire So just the wire above and below the coiled wire. So I'm just threading it through there. And then I'll go around the bottom too and bring it up between. So it's attached, and I'll do that again. And I'll carry on adding coils to that middle wire. I'm going to put the captions on because I know I'll keep speaking really quietly, and I'm sorry about that. I'll put the captions on. So I need to cut that wire from the beginning there. I'm really pleased with those little beads. I haven't added many beads lately. Yeah, I like those. So this bottom wire, I'm going to finish him off with a little curl while it's there. This one I'm going to take around the back, and I'm going to finish it by wrapping around this back wire. So I'm going to add a few more coils just to take me up to that wire there, so it's nice and tidy out the way. So thanks for watching. Please mention me, Kelly Jones Design, when sharing your finished work. Please don't show images of the back or in progress, as it gives all my little design secrets away. I much prefer you shared the video so people can come and see for themselves what a disaster I'm having. So there we go. Bring this wire back, and we're just going to wrap around this back wire to finish, and then cut it and wrap it around tightly with your pliers because it's tidier than using your fingers. And then we need to finish off those two back wires. To finish off these wires here, I'm just going to cut them short. And curl them. And I'm going to bend this one over the side so it's out the way, and I'm going to bend that one over that side because they're different heights, and they'll look a bit daft from the back because they're different heights. And I'm going to curl this wire at the front, but I'll do that in a minute. I need to add more beads to my other. So I've finished my other one the same way. Again, you can just make a simple little pendant if you want to. You don't have to make earrings. So I'm going to curl this last wire now. So I've cut that wire a little bit, and I'm going to curl it around with just the tip of the pliers. Just a little curl at the bottom there. So I'm going to run and oxidise these, and I'll show you what they're like. If you want to finish them off as earrings, then you'll need to add jump rings and ear wires to the tops. So there we have it finished as just a pendant. So that's them finished as earrings if you decided to make the two. I've added some cute little dangles to my earrings. If you'd like to make some of those too, I've done multiple tutorials on wrapping small stones. I'll put links in the description below. So I hope you found this tutorial easy to follow, something a bit different for you, and I will see you all in the next one. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon. Bye. Bye.